Hi, I'm Teresa from Phoenix Gate Crafts, and I went to my very first Sheep and Wool Festival today. I went to the Lambtown Festival in Dixon, California, and I've never been to any kind of Fiber Fest ever, and it was really an experience. To preface this, I do live in California where we get hot. So fiber arts aren't as prevalent and as celebrated here as they are in many other states that have cooler temperatures typically. Just for the simple fact that we don't get that cold in the winter. I have family in Michigan, and one of my nephews, who's 3 years older than me, teases me every year because he gets winter, we get rain. So it's one of those things where I didn't know that there was one so close to me. It's about 45 minutes away from where I live, a little longer with traffic. I was nervous after hearing about the Fiber Fest last year in New York. I mean, the possibility of raining the entire weekend was pretty much off the table. I don't think it ever does. It only rains on my birthday in November once every 4 years. So right now we are unseasonably hot. I went today, it was 100 degrees. And this was so well organized and orchestrated. When I first heard about it back in about January, it was a little early for pretty much anything. So I just signed up for email newsletter, which came out every week or two with just updates on everything that was going on. And last weekend, I was like, I really do want to go. I talked about it with my husband. He said, yeah, I'll go with you. You had the opportunity to either get a weekend pass for $20 or basically pick your day for $15. And we picked Saturday because with how far distant, we'd go one day, and realistically dragging my husband for a second day wasn't going to happen. The classes were about $165 each, so that's a bit out of our price range. And I'm at this level where I never know if I'm going to actually learn something in a class, because I really don't know where my level actually is. So I could sign up for something and be like, I've already done videos on all of this stuff. Or it could be like, I never heard of this before, and that would be really cool. But for so expensive, it just wasn't in the cards this time. I really went for the yarn shopping. And I know I am trying to reduce my stash at the moment, so I was really good and didn't buy very much. Now, if you're not aware, most sheep and wool festivals aren't just about buying yarn. Most of us there that I saw at the shops were people who knit and crochet. And there was a little bit there that was for loom knitting, and there was quite a lot there for spinning. I gave my husband, he's such a trooper. I know he's not actually interested in any of this, but I was explaining things like rollags and the different tools, because I know in theory everything there is about spinning, because I watched a lot of how to spin videos, like why you card and everything. And there was this wonderful booth that set up perfectly unprepared little bits of wool, some that had been carded, and then rollags. And so I was able to kind of explain the process by pointing at the wool in each of those stages. I am a very bad YouTuber. I didn't have my phone out recording anything because I feel you should go. They are fun. It was very much fun. They also have an actual like sheep area where you can go and look at sheep. We didn't go there. My husband has really bad allergies. I wasn't feeling like dealing with him with allergies. And my mom's a farm girl, and although I don't have any direct experience with sheep, it's just not interesting to me. So I didn't force the issue of going and seeing that section of things. But we did do the two buildings that were full of booths, and there were a lot of booths. One building was bigger than the other, one building had a perimeter of booths and then some aisles down the center. And the other one was basically just 2 aisles that kind of wrapped around. And I found the one ball of yarn I bought. I gave my husband puppy dog eyes. He didn't go for it a few other times. But I got Greenwood yarns, and oh my gosh, I just like zoomed in on this. This was like one of the first booths I saw. And this is fingering weight yarn, Simply Sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards for 100 grams. So, and these are like, you can see I have a theme that I really like. Anything that is blue, greens, pinks, purples, kind of that cool tone with white, I'm in for it. There was another one I saw at a different booth that was pinks, greens, and blues. A lot more solid and less, no speckles or anything, and no white. And Andy wouldn't let me buy it. I mean, he was keeping us in budget, so I can't really. I could have still bought it. I chose not to because I've got my rules for buying yarn. But yeah, they had everything there, and it was amazing. Another place I was at had a lot of like notions. Pretty much every single place had little rulers that were needle gauges, and some were more decorative than others. There were a lot of those little firewood cut styles. Lots of stitch markers. I didn't actually buy any stitch markers, though I did come away with one. But that's because I bought this little notebook. I should really take it out of the plastic. Now you can see it. Keep Calm and Carry yarn. It's also a really good shade of blue. And when I bought this was only $5. This yarn I got was $29, and the sticker shock, because I think Andy was expecting like $15 a ball. And when I purchase yarn from Knit Picks, it typically is about $12 to $15 per 100 grams, depending on which one I get. But, so he got sticker shock. And we hadn't discussed what I would buy previously, which we should have. So this was $5. He said, okay. And when I was purchasing it, the company, a needle runs through it. They did mostly project bags and stuff. They had a really cool one that was Disney princesses. But I wound up getting this stitch marker that is super not cooperating. There we go. Kind of a pinkish color. It's very reflective, so it's just like reflecting stuff. And it's a kitty cat head. So they gave me this for free, so I'm happy. And I'm going to use this because whenever you need little notes, this is like perfect for little things you might need. So, and a lot of the stuff was this kind of wood cutting thing. With that plywood stuff and the burnt edges. I don't know what that's called. It's not wood cutting, is it? While we were in the first room, we ran into Amy from Hooked on Wishing Crochet. And running into her wasn't entirely by accident. Didn't expect to just run into her right there, but she's the one who told me about the Lambtown festival, so meeting her was really cool. She had a friend with her who is Sarah Nickel, has her own YouTube channel as well. She hasn't been active in the last year, but I highly recommend checking both of their channels out. I'll put links in the description down below. And it was really cool actually meeting them face to face and having some chit chat. And my husband was there and he was his normal dorky self, and it was fun. And being able to talk, crochet with people a little bit and just generally being silly. I enjoyed it a lot. So there's a picture of the three of us. It's the only picture I took of the whole thing. After we did my little bit of shopping, Andy and I went and looked at the food trucks. There were several, but we didn't really feel like doing that. So instead we went to Broderick's, which is in West Sacramento. It's an interesting place. I say that as if it's a bad thing. It's really good food. They have amazing burgers. They'll cook the burgers the way you like it. They have amazing fries. Like, I really recommend the garlic fries. They were so good. And here's the cool thing. This is how we know them. They used to have a location in downtown Sacramento that closed because of a dispute, I think, over rent or something. And so now they're out in West Sacramento, and the way they're located is kind of hard to get to because it's around this corner and there's a back entrance. It's weird. It looks like a dive bar. And in fact, when you come in and you look to the right, there is a big bar. And it's the kind of place you kind of expect to be able to get like a shot of whiskey or a beer. They do have cocktails. And the cocktails are pretty reasonably priced. But we got there at like 2:30 in the afternoon. A little early for cocktails. But we know them because they have very unique burgers. But our favorite burger, the boar burger, isn't there anymore. The craziest thing they have now, they used to have like a boar burger and an ostrich burger and a few other odd meats, nothing too exotic, but just a little different. Most of them are now beef, with the exception of like the duck burger, and I think there was one other little slightly different one. I got a regular burger. I got the Johnny Cash burger, which is basically their version of a barbecue burger, which has their in-house pickled sweet peppers, which were actually really good. A little tart and pretty sweet, and I liked it. But here's the really cool thing. I mean, that place is so dark. Your eyes have to adjust to the dimness, especially on a 100-degree day where it's super bright outside. And you go to the bathroom, which is on the complete opposite side of the building from where we were eating. And they have signs that point you to the bathroom. And at the employee door, it says, "You're not there yet, keep going." And then they have another sign at the end of the hall that points you in the direction. And I'll put the picture right here of the bathroom sign. I've seen images of this bathroom sign on the internet. I've never seen it in real life, and I thought it was awesome. I'm happy to go and be able to pee where a centurion pees, or a hoplite. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. Ultimately, it was a really good day. By the time we came home, Andy and I were exhausted. We took a nap, and I've woken up, I've eaten some dinner, and now I'm telling you. Is there a moral to the story? No, not really. But I do want to say one last thing about the Sheep and Wool Festival before I close out. They were prepared for the heat. Not only were the two main buildings fully air conditioned, they were prepared because they checked the temperature for the weekend and knew it was going to be about 100 degrees. So yesterday, they sent out an email actually explaining what accommodations they had. They encouraged people to bring their own water bottles. And they had 2 water bottle refilling stations on the premises, so you didn't have to worry about buying water. You weren't trapped buying water. I really wish the California State Fair would do that, just because it would be so much easier than trying to buy like $5 or $6 bottles of water. They also had a tent that was a cool zone that was filled with chairs and fans and swamp coolers, and an eating area that was enclosed outside. So they really made sure for accommodations for people who are more sensitive to the heat. Since we did get there a little bit earlier, we were leaving at the heat of the day. It didn't really hurt us. Parking was also free, but I drove, and I'm a chicken when it comes to finding parking. So we parked a few blocks away down a side street, which was further than we had to go because I'm pretty sure there was closer parking had I bothered to find it. But it was just ultimately very well organized, and I think it was amazing how well they planned for typical California weird ass summer heat. So I hope you found this useful. If you have a Fiber Fest in your area, I encourage you to try it out. Check it out. It is fun. I can see why everybody goes to these things. Anyway, happy crafting. Bye.